Hey Trinity, it is Ethan, and a special treat today. I am here with my good friend Dustin, as in Dustin and Joanna. They were here this past Sunday, but we're here about 5 years ago, actually 5 to 6 years ago, when Dustin was one of our youth interns for I think almost a solid year, maybe a little longer. And at that point, Dustin and Joanna were a couple, but were not married. But since then, they have become married, moved back to Indiana, where they are now, had a couple of kids. And anyway, today what I just want to do is take a minute here and have Dustin tell you a little bit about what he is doing, what God's doing in his life, the ministry that he is moving into. And guys, the reason that I'm here with Dustin is the fact that he was part of our church, and we really were part of how God sent him out into what the next stage of their life was at that point 5 years ago. And so now I just want him to talk to us a little bit about what the next stage is that you guys are going now. And if any of you, if this really resonates with you and you share with your heart shares with Dustin's heart and what God is doing, you might want to be able to learn more about it. So we'll tell you about that in just a second. But Dustin, just briefly here, talk to us about what CCO is. That's the group. And what you're doing. What's going on here.
Awesome. Yeah. So CCO stands for Coalition for Christian Outreach. Nothing fancy, but we just call it for CCO because it's short. CCO has a heart for campus ministry, and it was born out of Young Life out of Pittsburgh. They started seeing that young adults in high school were not pursuing the Lord once they went to college. And so there's a huge gap in young adults from high school that go into college that leave the faith. Right around 56% of them leave the faith. And today, when we look out at the colleges here in the United States, out of 20 million college students, only 2% of them are actually being actively discipled. And so CCO, a college ministry, a little bit like InterVarsity or Campus Crusade, has a heart to minister to college students. And our heart is to help transform college students to transform the rest of the world. CCO works with partnerships. They work with local universities, colleges, coffee shops, businesses that have a heart to do ministry in their local context. CCO hires staff. They partner them with that ministry. And then the partnership then helps pay part of their salary, and then that staff member raises the rest. So it's a really cool way that we as an organization work with the local ministry. We're able to make that ministry contextualized to whatever God's doing in that environment. And so CCO is a wonderful organization that helps students understand what does it mean to serve Christ in every aspect of their life. More than just salvation, which obviously is very important, but we want students to understand what does it mean to walk with Christ on a daily basis through their whole life. And so I'll be starting that up in Indianapolis with their program, with their outdoor ministry program called XD, which stands for Experiential Ministry, which services the rest of those partnerships with the organization of CCO. So that's what we're doing. We are looking to minister to young adults. I left my job 5 weeks ago to start support raising, and now we're out here in Colorado meeting with Trinity because we've had an amazing relationship. I actually came to Trinity through an outreach event through the 4th of July parade that went on. I was out here working for Meet the Wilderness as a 20-year-old and didn't really have any community out here, and Trinity became that community for me. And so in many ways, the ministry that they were to me, I'm now looking to extend that, to continue that mission to the United States and to the lives of young adults. And so it's exciting to continue that mission that Trinity was a part of my own story growing up. So
what you're telling me, Dustin, this is a question that I've wondered for all these years, is when on 4th of July, when we're out there banging those trash cans together and making all that racket, so God actually can use that.
Yes.
Right? So you're an example of that.
I mean, in every transitional time of our lives, when we step out and we're in a new place, it can be super lonely. I mean, if you think about the times in your life where you transitioned out or you stepped out into the unknown, what was that like for you? It was hard. It was difficult, right? There's new experiences. You don't know anybody. So here I am in the valley. I come from the Midwest. I never grew up around mountains. I had a heart for the Lord, and I was around a lot of non-believers. So for me, it's like, where am I going to be fed? And for about a month and a half, I was looking, I was praying. I'd ask people, but nobody was really able to point me to an event, to a church. And lo and behold, as we're out there doing the parade, I see all these crazy people with these tie-dye shirts banging on these plastic drums. Jason comes over because he used to work for me at the Wilderness. We strike up a conversation, and he invites me to be a part of his life and got me connected with the youth here at Trinity. I started helping out when I wasn't out backpacking. So it was just through a church, through Trinity, that's willing to invest into me, to show me that I was delighted in, gave me a safe place just to be loved and to feel like I had a home away from home. And so it was a really big part of my own story. So the outreach event was successful, at least in my life. So I really appreciated that, having that role.
Right.
So thank you.
Well, Dustin, that is awesome. And so, guys, again, just a brief video here, and a lot of you do know Dustin, but even if you don't, I wanted to give you this opportunity. Right below this video is an email link. You can email Dustin if you'd like to learn more about what he's doing. I also have a link to the CCO webpage for the overall ministry. Dustin, you're going to be based primarily, at least getting started, out of Butler University. Correct, in Indianapolis,
Yep.
Which, if you've ever heard me or seen me wearing my Butler shirt, that's where Caleb is a student. And I know, Dustin, Caleb's freshman year, he got there, he's a believer, doesn't know anybody, and was starting to connect with the church. But you were, even though, you were doing your logistics job and you were not formally in ministry, you were a big support and encouragement to Caleb then. And so really taking that to a larger picture of bringing the gospel and challenging young adults. One thing you shared with our men's group this morning is challenging these young adults to see how the gospel is real and how Christ is real in all of their life, right? Not just in the church, but in their career path, right? And so exciting stuff. So anyway, guys, we're going to wrap this video up, but I encourage you, if you have any more interest, or God might be putting this type of ministry in your heart, Dustin would love to talk to you. And he is, guys, he's raising funds. He's raising his support, and that's one of the reasons he's out here. And so wanted to give him the chance to talk to you about what he's doing. And maybe some of you are a person that God would lead to come alongside him for a period of time to be a part of his monthly support for this ministry. So anyway, follow the links right here below. He'd love to talk to you. Dustin, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And we're about to go have lunch, and he's going to tell me more about this. So anyway, Trinity, love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.